Hi, welcome back. My name is Edwin Patterson. This is the third of three series of, the title is, There is a Story in the Book of Mormon that can be fact-checked. And it is in 1 Nephi. It is the travel of Lehi and his family south from Jerusalem, down through Arabia, over to Bountiful, where they build their ship and get ready to go to America. As you've seen both of the videos before, you know there's a strong evidence that everything said has been found and identified. Now the last is, and I am not a mathematician, one of these brothers is, and they're going to give statistics of what the likelihood that Joseph could have guessed this. That's interesting to me. Now again, if you're not a mathematician, you might want to close your eyes and relax. I'm going to have to read some because again, to get it out of my brain, I'm too little of a brain. But I think you'll enjoy it. It's short, but right to the punchline. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So this is, again, 167 pages, 6 years in the building, 4 years in the production of the book. So 10 years of their lives went into finding the story of Nephi and is it true or not. Here's what they have to say. In concluding our 6-year study, we are convinced that Arabia and its history hold straightforward and compelling evidence that Joseph Smith could not have authored the Book of Mormon, which is the punchline for me. Another reason to say Joseph didn't write this. Joseph couldn't have written this. Rather, the prophet has been among the greatest, if not the greatest, translator of an ancient script who ever lived. So perfect is the work that every 1 Nephi place name in Arabia can now be readily identified with a potential site that fits with complete harmony with the Book of Mormon narrative. That's pretty stunning. Before I found this book, I didn't know. I never really thought about it. It's an interesting story. Okay, they're traveling through the desert. Okay. These guys put the effort in to say, is that really real? And what they're saying is, amen, brother. Okay, let's go on. We had to travel in the desert back roads of Arabia nearly 6 years to find these places. So it wasn't just a nice, easy drive. 6 years, thousands of miles of driving to find all of these sites. How could Joseph Smith have known of them in upstate New York in 1829 or 30? In the course of this book, we have discussed in detail 81 points obtained from the first book of Nephi pertaining to the geology and topology of the trail of Nephi down to his ship. What are the chances Joseph Smith could have guessed at these 81 details? Now we're getting into the math. And again, you may enjoy this, you may not, but this for me was very titillating, very enjoyable. What are the chances of correctly guessing that a river existed in this desert of Saudi Arabia? 1 in 1,000? 1 in 1,000,000? What are the chances of guessing that wild bees found hardly anywhere else in Arabia existed in the south coast of Arabia? Let's assume that Joseph Smith had a 1 in 2 chance of guessing any one of these 81 points. So that's a 50% chance. That's what it translates to. Okay, that's the basis of their mathematical equation. 1 in 2, 50%. That means he's a pretty good guesser. What statistics come from there? By the time we reach Shazar, Joseph Smith's chances of having guessed the details correctly would be, and I'll hold that for just a moment, think Jerusalem down, Red Sea, Valley of Lemuel, 3 days to there from the Red Sea, 4 days down to Shazar. Okay, and we have a lot still to go. What are the mathematical chances of him doing just that much in the trip? It's 1 in 8,388,608 would be the mathematical chances of him guessing it. 1 in 8 million. And they're giving him 50% right. Just as, well, I lucked out. Let's go on. By the time they reach Nahum, so you're just going in a straight down southeast, Jerusalem, you have then the Red Sea, the Valley of Lemuel, Shazar, and Nahum. It's about 800 miles from top to bottom, with a lot of detail of things that happened in that trip. Let's read that again. By the time they reach Nahum, now they're going to turn east and go towards Bountiful. Joseph Smith's chances of having guessed the details correctly would be 1 in 140 billion. Again, I'm not a mathematician. I just smile. These guys are. They have a very precise number. I won't read all the little numbers to you. 1 in 140 billion to get that right. Well, let's keep going. By the time they reached Bountiful, Joseph Smith's chance of having guessed the details correctly would be 1, and I think it's 36 trillion, I think. By the time they are sailing to America, Joseph Smith's chance of having guessed the details correctly would be 1 in 241 something, billions. And the way, as a mathematician thinks about it, it would be 2.4 times 10 to the 24th power. The odds of Joseph guessing are so infinitesimal. So if he didn't guess, how would it known? My contention is, these brothers' contention is, there's no way Joseph did that. No way. And if Joseph didn't, then the translation is real. That's the only way that the details that Nephi left in 1 Nephi 2 to 1 Nephi 18 could have been put out. What could Joseph have known? He could have gone to the great library in Palmyra. That's facetious. Looked up maps of Arabia. That's facetious. There's no maps of Arabia there. The first white man didn't show up in the western side of Arabia until 1830, a year after the translation. There's no source that Joseph can go to and say, oh yeah, I can figure that out and just lay a line in it. And here 2 men spent 10 years of their life looking for and writing about this story. So yes, the story can be fact-checked. And yes, it has been fact-checked. And if you want to read it, it's called Lehi in the Wilderness, 81 Evidences of the Truth of the Book of Mormon. It is an awesome book. I recommend it to you. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on down the road.